The PoetX by Elizabeth Acevedo. Monday, September 24th, Catching Feelings. In school, things feel so different. Miss Galliano asks me about the spoken word poetry club, and I try to pretend I forgot about it. But I think she can tell by my face or my shrug that I've been secretly practicing, that I spend more time writing poems or watching performance videos on YouTube than I do on her assignments. At lunch, I sit with the same group I sat with last year, a table full of girls that want to be left alone. I find comfort in my apples and my journal as the other girls read books over their lunch trays or draw mango or silently text boyfriends, sharing space, but not words. In bio, when I lower my ass into the seat next to Aman, I wonder if I should sit slower or faster, if I should write neater, or run a fingertip across his knuckles when Mr. Bildner isn't looking. Instead, Aman and I pass notes on scrap paper, talking about our days, our parents, our favorite movies and songs, and the next time we'll go to the smoke park. If my body was a country club soda bottle, it's one that has been shaken and dropped, and at any moment it's going to pop open and surprise the whole damn world. Notes with Aman. You ever messed with anyone in school? X. Nah, never really be into anyone. A. We not cute enough for you? X. Nope, you ain't. A. Damn, shit on my whole life. X. You just want me to say you cute. A. Do you think I am? X. I'm still deciding. Tuesday, September 25th, what I didn't say to Caridad in confirmation class. I wanted to tell her that if Aman were a poem, he'd be written slumped across the page, sharp lines and a witty punchline written on a bodega brown paper bag. His hands, writing gently on our lab reports, turned into imagery, his smile the sweetest uncliched smile. He is not elegant enough for a sonnet, too well thought out for a free write, taking too much space in my thoughts to ever be a haiku. Lectures. Mira, muchacha. I'm not sure if your eyes can roll so hard in your head that a stranger could use them as a pair of dice, but if they can, someone just bad lucked on snake eyes. When I was waiting for you, I saw you whispering to Caridad in the middle of your class, do not let yourself get distracted so that you lead yourself and others from la palabra de Dios. And although the night has cooled down, the fading summer heat, sweat breaks out on my forehead, my tongue feels swollen, dry and heavy with all I can't say. Ms. Galliano's sticky note on top of assignment 1, Xiomara. Although you say you're only dressing your thoughts in poems, I found several of your assignments quite poetic. I wonder why you don't consider yourself a poet. I love that your brother gave you a notebook you still use. You really should come to Poetry Club. I have a feeling you'd get a lot out of it. G. Sometimes someone says something, and the words are like the catch of a gas stove, the click-click while you're waiting for it to light up and then flame big and blue. That's what happens when I read Miss Galliano's note. A bright light lit up inside me, but now I crumple up the notes into assignment and throw them out in the cafeteria trash can because every day the idea of Poetry Club is like Eve's apple, something you can want but can't have. Friday, September 28th, listening. Today when Aman and I sit on the bench, I wait for him to pass me his headphones, but he plays with my fingers instead. No music today, X. Instead, I want to hear you read me something. And I instantly freeze because I never read my work, but Aman just sits patiently, and with my heart thumping, I pull my notebook out. You better not laugh. But he just leans back and closes his eyes, and so I read to him, quietly, a poem about Poppy. My heart pumps hard in my chest, and the page trembles when I turn it and I rush through all the words. And when I'm done, I can't look at Aman. I feel as naked as if I'd undressed before him. But he just keeps fiddling with my fingers. Makes me think of my mother being gone. You got bars, X. I'm down to listen to them anytime. Mother business. Aman and I don't really talk about our families like that. I know the rules. You don't ask about people's parents. Most folks got only one person at home, and that person isn't even always the egg or the sperm donor. But I feel like I said too much and too little about Poppy. And now I want to know more about Aman's family. Can you tell me about your mom's? Why is she gone? His mouth looks zipped up silent. We're quiet for a while, and there's no noise to cover my shiver. Even lost in his thoughts, Aman notices, tucks my hand clasped with his inside his jacket pocket. I'm glad the cold breeze is a good excuse for why my cheeks go pink. He finally looks at me, his eyes trying to read something in my face. I don't expect him to ever answer. And then he does. My mom's was a beautiful woman. She and Pops married when they were teens. He came here first and sent for us. I was old enough when I came here that I can remember Trinidad, the palm trees behind my grandma's house, the taste of backyard mangoes, the song and the voice every time someone spoke. I was young enough to learn how my accent could be rolled tight between my lips until this country smoked it out into that clipped, good accented English. My mother never came, you know. She would call every day at first and always tell me the same thing. She was handling affairs. We'll be together soon. She calls every year on my birthday. I've stopped asking her when she's coming. Pop and I get on just fine. I've learned not to be angry. Sometimes the best way to love someone is to let them go. Warmth. Aman and I walked from our park, but instead of walking straight to the train, we skipped the station and the next. We were silent the whole walk. Without words, we were in agreement that we'll walk as far as we can this way. My hand held in his coat pocket. Each of us keeping the other warm against the quiet chill. Tuesday, October 9, the next couple weeks pass by like an express train, and before I know it, October has cooled the air, and we're all pressed into hoodies and jackets. I try to avoid Miss Galliano, who always reminds me I'm more than welcome to join Poetry Club. Aman and I don't share a lunch period, but we walk together to the train after school, listening to music or just enjoying the quiet. I think we both want to do more, but I'm still too shy, and he's still too Aman. Which means he never presses too hard, and I have to wonder if he's being respectful or isn't feeling me like that. He wouldn't be hanging out with me so much if he wasn't feeling me, right? And although I still want to stay seated during communion, I get up every time, put the wafer in my mouth, and slip it beneath the pew, my hands shaking less and less every time I do. The hardest thing has been Tuesdays. I sit in confirmation class knowing I could be in Poetry Club instead, or writing, or doing anything other than trying to unhear everything Father Sean says, and I do a good job of pretending, at least until the day I open my usually silent mouth and decide to ask Father Sean about Eve. Eve, Father Sean explains, could have made a better choice. Her story is a parable to teach us how to deal with temptation. Resist the apple. For some reason, either because of what I'm learning in school and in real life, I think it all just seems like bullshit. So I say so out loud to Father Sean. Next to me, Caridad goes completely still. I think the story of Genesis is mad stupid. God made the earth in 7 days, including humans, right? But in biology we learned that dinosaurs existed on Earth for millions of years before other species. Unless the 7 days is a metaphor, but what about humans evolving from apes? Unless Adam's creation was a metaphor too? And about this apple, how come God didn't explain why they couldn't eat it? He gave Eve curiosity, but didn't expect her to use it. Unless the apple is a metaphor, is the whole Bible a poem? What's not a metaphor? Did any of it actually happen? Catch my breath, look around the room. Caridad is bright red. The younger kids are silent, watching like it's a WWE match. And Father Sean's face is turned hard as the marble altar. Why don't you and I talk after class, Xiomara? As we were packing to leave, Xiomara, if Father Sean says something to your moms, it's going to be a hot mess. X, so what? Aren't we supposed to be curious about the things that we're told? Listen, don't come at me like that, Xiomara. I'm just trying to help you. X, I know, but they're just questions. Aren't priests obligated to confidentiality? That wasn't a confession, Xiomara. X doesn't say. Wasn't it? Father Sean tells me I seem distracted in confirmation class. Tells me perhaps there's something I'd like to discuss besides Eve. Tells me it's normal to be curious about the world. Tells me Catholicism invites curiosity. Tells me I should find solace in a forgiving religion. Tells me the church is here for me if I need it. Tells me maybe I should have a conversation with my mother. Tells me open and honest dialogue is good for growth. Tells me a lot of things, but none of them an answer to anything I asked. Answers. After Father Sean's lecture, he seems to expect answers from me. I stare at the picture behind his desk. It's him in a boxing ring, holding a pair of gold gloves. You still fight, Father Sean? He cocks his head at me and his lips quirk up a bit. Every now and then I get into a ring to stay in shape. I definitely don't fight as much as I used to. And not every fight can be fought with gloves, Xiomara. I stand. I tell Father Sean I won't ask about Eve again. I leave church before he asks me something I can't answer. Rough draft assignment 2, last paragraphs of my biography. And that's how Xiomara, bare-knuckled, fought the world into calling her correctly by her name and not expecting her to be a saint, into respecting her as a whole grown-ass woman. She knew since she was little the world would not sing her triumphs, but she took all of the stereotypes and put them in a chokehold until they breathed out the truth. Xiomara may be remembered as a lot of things: a student, a miracle, a protective sister, a misunderstood daughter, but most importantly, she should be remembered as always working to become the warrior she wanted to be. Final draft of assignment 2, what I actually turn in, Xiomara Batista, Monday, October 15, Miss Galliano, last paragraphs of my biography, final draft. Xiomara's accomplishments amounted to several key achievements. She was a writer who went on to create a nonprofit organization for first-generation teenage girls. Her center helped young women explain to their parents why they should be allowed to date and go away for college and move out when they turned 18. Also, how to discover what they wanted to do in life. It was an organization that helped thousands of young women, and although they never built a statue outside the center, she would have hated that, they did hang a super blown-up selfie of her in the main office. Since her parents were distraught that the neighborhood had changed, that there were no more Latino families in the bodegas and the sastreria were all closed down, Xiomara used her earnings to buy them a house and to make it in public. While she was never married and didn't have children, Xiomara was happy with a big pit bull and a brownstone in Harlem, not too far from the neighborhood where she was raised. Her twin brother lives down the street. Hands. In bio, Amon's hand has started finding mine inside the desk. I hope I don't sweat as his finger fiddles across my palm. I wonder if he's nervous like me, if he's frontin' like me, pretending I've played with someone's hand and don't even more. Even though I've dreamt about him before, there's something different about touching a guy in real life, in the flesh, inside a classroom. More than once, his hand lighting a match inside my body. Fingers. In bed at night, my fingers search a heat I have no name for, sliding into a cinder, finding a hidden core or stem, or maybe the root. I'm learning how to caress and breathe at the same time, how to be silent and feel something grow inside me. And when it all builds up, I sink into my mattress. I feel such a release, such a relief. I feel such a shame, settled like a blanket covering me head to toe. To make myself feel this way is a dirty thing, right? And why does it feel so good? Tuesday, October 16th, talking church. So you go to church a lot, right? Amon asks as we walk to the train. And any words I have, suicide jump off my tongue because this is it. Either he's going to think I'm a freak of the church who's too holy to do anything, or he's going to think I'm a church freak trying to get in with the first boy who tries. X. I try to focus on that, how much I love this new nickname, how it's such a small letter, but it still fits all of me. Xiomara? I finally turned to look at him. Yeah, my mom's is big into church, and I go with her into confirmation classes. So your mom's is big into church, but you, what are you big into? And I let loose the breath that I was holding, and before I know I'm going to say them, the words have already escaped my mouth. You already know I'm into poetry. And he nods, looks at me, and seems to decide something. So what's your stage name, Xiomara? I'm so glad he's changed the subject that I answer before I think. I'm just a writer. Maybe I'd be the PoetX. He smiles. I think that fits you perfectly. Swoon. In science, we learned that thermal conductivity is how heat flows through some materials better than others. But who knew words, when said by the right person, by a boy who raises your temperature, move heat like nothing else? Shoot a shock of warmth from your curls to your toes. Telephone. Twin doesn't ask why I'm texting so late into the night that the glow of my phone is the only light in the whole apartment. And I don't offer to tell him or to hide my texting beneath my blanket. I've never been super friendly, and Caridad is the only person we really talk to unless I'm working on a class project or something, but now I have Amon, sweet and patient Amon, who sends me Drake lyrics that he says remind him of me, and asks me to whisper him poems in return, who never grows tired of my writing and always asks for more. Twin doesn't ask who I'm texting, though I know he's wondering because I'm wondering who he's been texting to. The reason why he's smiling more now and giggles in the dark, the glow of his phone letting me know we both have secrets to keep. Over breakfast, Twin is singing underneath his breath as he pours milk into his cereal. I watch him as I sip on a cup of coffee. He slices up an apple and gives me half. He knows they're my favorite, but I'm surprised he's being so thoughtful. Twin, you've been smiling more lately. This person got a name? And my words make me the smile slip and slide right off his face. He shakes his head at me, pushes his cereal away. He plays with the tablecloths. Is that why you've been smiling so much? And to cover my blush, I gulp down the last of my coffee. I'm just happy. You know what we should plan? Our scary movie date for Halloween. You and me. And we both say at the same time, and Caridad. Angry cat? Happy X. C, girl, this angry cat meme reminded me of you. X, SMH, you're dumb. I was just about to text you. Scary movie Halloween date? C, duh, how you doing? How's that boy you feeling? X, I'm good. He's fine. C, why? X, I know you don't approve. C, yo, I just don't want you getting in trouble. But I like seeing you happy. Like this happy cat meme. Friday, October 19th, about being in like. The smoke park is empty again, and I'm so glad we finally have another half day. The afternoon stretches before us. No mommy to call me. She's still at work. Twins' genius schedule runs on a different. Twins' genius school runs on a different schedule. Caridad never texts during class. It's just me and Mom, and his hand brushing my cheek to insert an earbud. You ever smoked a blunt? I shake my head. Word. Drake is better when you lit. We can listen to him anyways. So I shut my eyes, pressing my shoulder closer to his as he settles his iPhone between us, as he settles his hand on my thigh. Music for A. Placing my head on the crook of your neck makes me happy to be alive. Eyes closed, hands clasped, don't breathe, and maybe we will live like this forever. It'd be gibberish, but everything you whisper sounds like poetry. I missed you. This was supposed to be a question, not a poem, confession, or whatever it's become. I just wanted to know if you would listen with me to the sound of our heartbeats. Tuesday, October 23rd, ring the alarm. The day that becomes the day starts real regular, same schedule, and nothing changed till last period bio. It's the first Tuesday since the Eve episode, and with 30 minutes left of school, the fire alarm goes off. Mr. Builder sighs and stops the PowerPoint that was showing us how Darwin figured out finches. Mon squeezes my hand beneath the desk and stands, slings his bag across his shoulder. He never puts it in his locker. Before I know what I'm saying, the words skip like small rocks out my mouth. We should go to the park. They sink in silence. He cocks his head. You know Builder's going to take attendance if this is a false alarm. Class lines up to exit, and as we scrunch together, my ass bumps Amon's front. I don't move away. I whisper over my shoulder, we should still go. Amon's finger pulls on one of my curls. I didn't know you liked Drake enough to get caught cutting. I lean back against him, feel his body pressed against mine. Drake isn't the one that I like.